Hi Aquarius, welcome to your week ahead tarot with me, Raphael from Radiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note about my readings, they are for your sun, moon and ascendant. So whether you're a sun, moon or rising sign Aquarius, this is for you. And I always advise that you watch all three to get a clearer, more complete picture of how they speak to you. And also, if you haven't seen it, please check out your March 2021 Taroscope. The monthly reading is where I get the key from the key to the week card from. So when we do your 4 weeks of the month, that's where you'll find them. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my deck of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So for your key to the week, before we get into that, if you haven't got your seat on the intuition activation webinar, please hit the link in the description box below to check it all out. Your key to the week is the Justice card, and yes, this card is about signing on the dotted line. It's about finally committing to something. But if I'm completely honest with you, this feels to me like this is about you maybe coming to a decision about what you're really ready and willing to commit to for yourself. It's almost like you're reframing this to say, okay, you know what? Usually I'm committed to the good of the whole. Usually I'm committed to whatever is balanced and fair. And, you know, that's always a good way to be. But this week it's kind of like, what do I want? How do I take all of my eggs out of other people's baskets and put them back into my own for a change? For your actions and options this week, you have the 8 of Wands. So for some of you, this looks like you are either seeking out a mentor or a teacher of some kind, and it is literally you seeking them out. So it looks like information and communication that's coming from a distance. And I will say this, it looks like you're finding somebody that is gonna, I almost want to say like they're showing you how to work with the energies that you have. So this could be somebody that's like a spiritual teacher or a guru of some sort. It could be somebody that's going to mentor you. It could be you finding a coach for yourself as well this week, which I really feel like is a possibility. The other thing with that 8 of Wands as well, it's going to see you reaching or casting your net far and wide. There's going to be a lot of communication this week, and I feel like this is going to be you sifting through that information to make some really informed decisions going forward. For your communications and conversations, you have the 7 of Wands underneath the Justice card. This is a battle or a challenge of some sort that comes up, and it may be one that happens through paperwork. It may be one that happens through maybe possibly even a legal slant as well. Now, don't let that freak you out. It doesn't mean that you're all suddenly going to have, you know, every single person with Aquarius energy in their chart, which we all have, by the way, is suddenly going to have a lawsuit going on. It doesn't mean that, but there is a possibility with this combination of cards to see something that goes as far as that. Now, I do see it kind of going to the point of a letter, but I don't see it going beyond that. And as such, excuse me, just something for you to be aware of. For those of you that are working for somebody else, this week you are going to have to stand your ground. And I will say this, like going back to what I said to you earlier about standing up for yourself, this is going to be the week. Like usually Aquarian people are very much team players. Excuse me. Usually Aquarian people are very much team players, and this week from here on in, it's kind of like you're saying, actually, you know what, I'm going to be a bit self-focused for a while. And sometimes this is a really good thing to be. And you know, this is probably one of those times when it comes to those of you that are business owners, solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, people that work for yourselves in any way, shape or form. This is you having to fight for something, right? This is whether this is a contract, whether it's a client, this is you know, with the phone pressed to your ear, having to have that conversation, to be lighting a fire underneath somebody else's butt to say, look, you know what, if you're going to be about this, then you need to show up for it. It's kind of like you're trying to get somebody to not behave how you would behave, but it's like, you need to meet me halfway here. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I'll do all of my bit, but you've got to back this up. You need to do the other part of it. You need to do your part of it. For the those of you that are retired or no longer working for any reason, again, this is you really looking at, one, I think this is going to see you really focused on what you want to learn, what you want to study. And two, I think this is going to be you really starting to come into the understanding of where your shortfalls are. Where is it that the gaps in your knowledge, and I think this is for all Aquarians as well, where are the gaps in your knowledge that now need to be filled? You are going to have to muster the fight, the courage, the energy to get that done. For your money and materials, you have the Eight of Cups. Okay, not a great card, but look at this. It's right underneath the Eight of Wands. 2 8s represents new knowledge. Right, so this whole thing about finding a teacher, finding a coach, finding a mentor, finding somebody that's going to help push you to that next level, finding somebody that's going to help get you to that next level. This is great. I actually really like this for you, for all of us, I would say, actually. And the reason being is because it's kind of like you've accepted, okay, that avenue may not be for me. This one might be closed to me, but there are all of these. And you know what? They're open for me. And now I'm going to find out which is the right path for me. This is you being very self-focused, very self-directed, and basically saying, you know what? Whatever the challenges are that may have hit me emotionally, they're not going to hit me financially. This is great. For your physical health and vitality, the toes, the feet, the lymph system, all of this comes up a lot this week. Now, I did say to one of the other signs that got a similar combination, this is literally your immune system. So this week you might be feeling something might upset you this week, you know, on an emotional level. And if you don't deal with it and process it openly, the chances are it's going to hit you in the immune system, and you have to keep that healthy above all things at this moment in time, right? So be aware of that. For your home and environment, it looks like a very busy week, and I'll be honest with you, it kind of feels like some of you are either going to be so busy that you don't get to go out, or you're going to be so busy out that you don't really get to spend a lot of time at home. There's not going to be any in between, unfortunately. For your love and relations, all right, you've got the Eight of Pentacles. So here is a combination that's never come up before. It's the 3 8s, right? So 3 8s in the tarot literally represents marriage. You couple that with the Justice card. This is the marriage of two partners, the marriage of two people, the marriage of two companies. This is you marrying into, you know, a client, or into a different business, into a different industry. There is definitely a sense of a partnership shaping up here in some way, shape or form, and very likely to have something to do with your work. Now, for those of you that are single, it is going to be through your work or through your duties, or maybe even through your studies, that you're meeting somebody this week, if you are. And for those of you that are already in relationships, this is the work that you've done on the marriage now starts to yield results, now starts to yield the dividends. And this is you having to really still uphold that, to say, no, this is where my focus is. This is where my energy is going. It's an interesting week. It's a really interesting week. So with that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Let me know in the comments how this one shapes up, because I'm really intrigued to see how the 888s play out for everybody else. Take care, and I'll speak to you soon.